We're going to look at 10 reasons preppers need a .22 long rifle firearm. .22 long rifle, one of the most common calibers found all across the world. It's one of the most plentiful. One of the reasons is because while it is a very small caliber and it does have its limitations, it's very versatile. And that's probably the biggest thing for preppers. So today we're going to take a look at 10 different reasons why really you should consider having a .22 caliber firearm in your arsenal or your collection. This is one tool that you really need in your toolbox. Now, number one on the list is that .22 long rifle is cheap. It's very inexpensive compared to all of your other calibers. While we have seen some ups and downs with .22, it still remains at the bottom. And one of the great things is you can buy this in bulk. You can buy 500 round packs, 1,000 round packs, and you're spending a heck of a lot less than you would on any centerfire caliber cartridge. But also, it's very plentiful. So any gun shop that you go into, you're typically going to find some .22 long rifle. Now, we did have a shortage on .22 a few years ago, and it was really self-induced. People were just running out and buying .22 long rifle. But overall, this is one caliber that you should be able to find in any gun shop, pawn shop, or a big box store. And so stocking up on .22 is very easy to do, and it can really give you a lot of ammunition. Now, number two is it's very low report compared to your centerfire calibers. Yes, you need to wear hearing protection. It can definitely damage your ears. And you can hear it from a distance off. But compared to other calibers, it's definitely going to be a lot less noise. But because of that, it's very easy to suppress. One of the things about a suppressed .22 is what I love to call Hollywood quiet. It is very quiet, and especially if you get subsonic ammunition. But even with standard velocity, or for that matter high velocity, it's going to suppress the sound much easier than it is in most of your other calibers. I'll be honest, there's nothing better to me than taking a .22 handgun or rifle with a suppressor on it. It's just so quiet, it's so much fun to shoot, and to be honest with you, as far as shooting suppressed, .22 long rifle is my favorite. Now, number three is for hunting or for pest control. .22 long rifle makes a great option for small game. You're not going to destroy the meat, you're going to have more to harvest, and it's just, again, a little bit lower report. If you put on a suppressor, it's an extremely low report. And that way you can harvest game that you need possibly to eat. Now, one of the things also is that these will take up to white-tailed deer. You need to make sure you have the correct shot, but .22 is very accurate. In fact, poachers for years have used .22 long rifle because it's quiet, and that allows them to kind of keep the report down and to be able to hunt. Now, I'm not recommending it, and number two, it's illegal in every state as far as using .22. But it is possible, and in a grid down situation, it may be a great option. But also for pest control. And that's a big one. We had a possum get into one of our storage buildings and completely destroyed our camping gear. All of our sleeping bags, our tents. In fact, it cost us thousands of dollars. And then rats got in it as well and just made a mess. All that gear had to be thrown away. But also food. That is one big thing that pests are definitely going to be going after. And so they can get in and chew through plastic containers to get to food if they can smell it. And so you need to keep your pests down, and with a .22 it's a lot easier to do, especially if it's suppressed. But then, and another big reason is because of spreading diseases. And a lot of times rats carry different diseases. And so .22, again, you need to dispatch those pests because they can really make a mess. Now, number 4 is that there are so many lightweight options when it comes to 22. It's less powerful, there's not as much pressure on the action. The ballistics definitely are down, but it really allows you to be able to fire with a lot lighter type firearm. This little Smith & Wesson kit gun is extremely lightweight, easy to carry. In fact, this is something that I love to have on my hip when I'm out in the woods. It's like this little Volquartsen ENV. I mean, this is based on a 1022. It is super lightweight, easy to carry around. And again, because of the ballistics and the power of the 22, you can really get down to a very lightweight firearm. That means that it's easy to carry, easy to pack away. And so it's a very compact option and yet very lightweight. And then it comes to training. One of the things about 22, again, because it's so inexpensive, you can shoot a lot more. And again, the report is a lot less. If you have an AR-15, one great option is an AR-22. It has all the same controls. You can get very high capacity magazines and you can train with it, get a lot of practice in, and so it really mimics your full powered firearm. But that also relates to handguns. A lot of the different handguns come in 22 and a lot of the different configurations. So it gives you a lot of options to be able to train with the firearm that you're depending on for self-defense. Also for first-time shooters or those with little shooting experience. 22 long rifle is one of the best options to get them started. It's low recoil, it's low report, there's not a lot of noise, and they really enjoy shooting the firearm. And then I can move them up to more advanced calibers. It's almost like an entry drug into shooting. And I find that people really enjoy that 22 and they're ready for that 9mm handgun that comes up next. And again, it's an inexpensive way to get them started. Number 6 is there's a variety of different models. You can go all the way from a single shot rifle, break action, bolt action. You can go with a revolver, you can go with a single action revolver, you can go with, of course, semi-automatics in handgun and rifle. The sky's the limit, and so it gives you a lot of options to whatever you're comfortable with. One of the things about a revolver is it's very simple to operate, it's easy to load, and there's no safeties, and they're very reliable. And so a lot of people really enjoy revolvers. Then when you go up to semi-automatics, it's a little more advanced, and you need to have a little more skill. You need to remember to drop your safety, or for reliability. And with a slide coming back and extra magazines, it can be confusing for some. But for those of us who are more seasoned, it's a great option. It gives you a lot more capacity. And again, you can mimic all of these firearms to firearms that you have in centerfire calibers, those that you depend on. When it comes to 22, every possible action type rifle typically comes in a 22 long rifle form. Well, guys, check out suchgear.com. We have just revamped our website, including monthly giveaways. We also have a weekly newsletter, and we have a lot of merch. We do t-shirts as well in all sizes. We also have patches, which we have a number of different designs, and we do stickers. So check out suchgear.com. Ammo choices, you've got your standard velocity 22. You've got your high velocity 22, subsonics. You've got shot shells. There's so many different type 22 options. One thing I would highly recommend is making sure that you buy quality ammunition. And that way, you're gonna have more reliability, and that's a big deal. One of the things about 22 is that you can have reliability issues. With the rim of the cartridge, it needs to hit that rim, and centerfire is more reliable. But 22 long rifle and a good solid firearm that has good quality ammunition can be extremely reliable. And with all the different ammo choices, and again, the availability of the 22 ammunition, it just makes it very appealing. And again, it makes it extremely versatile. One of the big things about shot shells is that is great for pest control. Plus, you don't have to worry about over-penetration or as your backstop as much, because the shot shells are just not going to go that far. And then you have your subsonics, which you can use obviously with a suppressor. And again, suppressed 22 is a beautiful thing. Number 8 is accuracy. 22 long rifle can be extremely accurate, and of course that also has to do with the firearm. I have a number of Ruger 1022s with heavy barrels. With a good scope on it, you can get an incredible group up to 100 yards. So it gives you really some range, but even up close, you can get some really great accuracy. One of the great things too about that is that the accuracy that you can achieve with a .22 long rifle, that will translate into more centerfire calibers. All the disciplines that it takes to be very accurate go both ways. And so again, while it's great for training, that accuracy really helps that training to be more effective. And with the low report and the low recoil, that makes it just even more fun. Number 9, .22 long rifle can be used for self-defense. It is a last resort. I don't recommend .22 for self-defense, but it is capable. And like the old saying goes, it's better than a sharp stick. A number of years ago, there came out a report that .22 long rifle killed more people than any other caliber. One of the reasons why it's more plentiful. But it is very easy, and for those who are very recoil sensitive, sometimes they won't shoot anything more than a .22 long rifle. And I'll just be honest, guys, I'd rather them have a .22 long rifle than nothing. So while it is a last resort option, it is an option. Now, number 10 is that it makes an excellent barter item. You can stock up quite a bit of .22, again, because it's relatively inexpensive. And you can buy bulk ammunition, you can buy it just by the little box of 50 rounds. And so it gives you some barter capability. One thing that in a grid down situation is that ammunition is going to be at a premium, and people are going to be willing to trade and barter for things just for a good box of ammunition. So that is one of the big things for the prepper, is to have a lot of .22 stocked up, and you can use that for yourself or for barter items. Now, there are some downsides to .22 long rifle, and one is reliability. Because of the nature of the rimmed cartridge, sometimes they can have reliability issues. In fact, the 25 ACP was developed by John Moses Browning because it was a .22 surrogate, and yet it had centerfire reliability. But .22 long rifle with the modern ammunition, it is very reliable. But sometimes with different pressures and different velocities, you can have problems in a semi-automatic firearm. Less out to have that problem with a revolver. So while most of your ammunition is going to function in that semi-automatic firearm, sometimes they can be a little finicky, and you want to make sure that you buy the ammunition that's good quality ammunition to ensure better reliability. Number 2 is the range of .22. It's a very small projectile, and really going over 100 yards to 150 yards is about what you're going to get. Now, it'll go a lot farther than that, and a lot of people have done a lot of experiments with shooting .22 at great distances. The big problem is, again, is the bullet weight. It just loses a lot of its ballistic capability. So with .22 long rifle, you are going to be limited with range. Okay. Also, again, it is a marginal self-defense option. It is capable, but it's marginal. And again, I don't recommend .22 if you have another option. And also, as far as maintenance, one of the problems with .22 is it can be pretty dirty. The better quality .22 you get, the less fouling and the less lead shavings and things that can really gum up your .22. But you're going to have to be better at keeping your guns clean, making sure that it's maintained. One of the things over the years is finding your grandpa's old .22, and you can look inside and it is completely dirty. And a lot of the grease and residue gets built up, and it can clog up the action. So making sure that you keep those guns maintained and clean is going to be very important. Secondly, because the parts are smaller typically, that is also a little bit of an issue with keeping reliability and keeping your maintenance up. Now, keeping your firearms maintained and cleaned is vital. Otis makes some of the best cleaning equipment out there. They make a number of different kits that are dedicated for different rifles, pistols. They also have Shooter's Choice, which makes excellent CLP and bore solvent and different cleaning materials. The Ripcord is one of their signatures, and there's a whole system based around it. They are suppliers to the U.S. military. So check out Otis Technologies, highly recommended, and we want to thank Otis for being a sponsor of the channel. You take your old grandpa's .22 and you break it down, you may or may not be able to get it back together. But with most modern .22 rifles, especially like the 10-22, it's very easy to maintain, it's very easy to even repair and replace parts. And that is one thing that you're going to have to watch for. So guys, the .22, it is a vital part of prepping. There's a lot of reasons to have .22, and it gives you a lot of versatility. Again, it's one of those tools in your toolbox that fits so many different roles. And I think the hardest thing about 22 is making a decision on which type firearm that you want to choose, because there are so many different options out there. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. But it is very effective. Now we're going to look at 10 reasons why 22, did I already say that? It's tiny, but it's extremely versatile. This is one of the most common calibers in the, did I already say that? Did I say that? Yeah. One of the things I like to call the Mighty Mouse of handgun rifles. It's very low report. It's, okay, I'm going to go into the things. I'm already going into the list. I haven't even started it.